I want you to think about something before this story begins. Think about the one thought you had today that you would never say out loud. Maybe it was about someone at work. Maybe it was about someone you love. Maybe it was a fear so personal that just having it felt like a small betrayal of yourself. You kept it private. You always do. Now imagine that tomorrow morning, that thought was no longer private. Not because you said it out loud. Not because someone went through your phone, but because every single thought inside your mind just became something other people could hear, and not just yours. Everyone's, every person on earth, every fear, every secret, every quiet judgment you have ever made about someone standing right next to you. This is the story of the day humanity lost its silence, and what it discovered when the noise finally stopped. It starts like any other morning. You wake up and the first thing you notice is that something feels off. Not wrong exactly, just different. Like the air has a strange weight to it. Like the moment after lightning strikes and the whole world goes completely still. You walk into the kitchen. Your mom is standing at the stove. She does not turn around. But after a moment she says, "Why would you think that about my cooking?" You never opened your mouth. Before you can even process what just happened, your phone starts going off. A message from your best friend. "Did you actually think I was being annoying last night?" Another from a coworker. "I heard that." Another from someone you barely know. "Same, I heard everything too." You were standing in your kitchen, phone in hand, the world falling apart in real time, and the truth becomes impossible to ignore. Every thought you have had this morning, and apparently every thought everyone else is having, is completely and unavoidably public. Within 3 hours, every news channel on the planet is covering the same story. Within 6, governments have declared states of emergency. Within 24 hours, nobody on Earth knows how to look at each other anymore. But the strangest part? The part absolutely nobody saw coming? It is not the secrets that break people. What breaks people is the small stuff. Not the big confessions. Not the hidden crimes. It is the tiny, invisible social fabric that held everything together. And it turns out that fabric was made almost entirely of polite fiction. A husband sits across from his wife at breakfast. He hears her think, just for a second, that she finds his laugh slightly irritating. She loves him completely. 11 years of marriage, but that one passing thought is now hanging in the air between them. A teacher stands at the front of her classroom and hears 30 students simultaneously thinking about how boring the lesson is. She is a good teacher. She knows that. But hearing it all at once, unfiltered, unedited, feels like walking into a wall. A man holds the door open for a stranger at a coffee shop. The stranger thinks he only did that because I am pretty. He did not. But now he knows she thought it. Everywhere you look, the gap between what people say and what they actually think is suddenly, painfully visible. And that gap, which most of us quietly knew was there but agreed never to discuss, turns out to be enormous. For a while, the world just stops. Not because people are terrible, but because nobody was prepared to be fully, completely, nakedly known. And then something happens that nobody had predicted. It is day 4. You have mostly been staying home, terrified of what your mind might broadcast in public. But today you have no choice. You have to go out. You are in the hallway and then you see them. The person you have quietly liked for months. You have never said anything. You have barely managed full sentences around them. You have just carried this feeling privately, like a small warm secret tucked somewhere safe. And the moment they walk past you, it floods your mind all at once. They stop walking. They turn around. And they look at you with an expression you have never seen before. Not embarrassment, not awkwardness. Something more complicated. Something that looks almost like recognition, because they heard every word, and without speaking they close the distance, lean against the wall, and think clearly, deliberately, knowing you will hear it. I have felt the same way. In a world with no privacy, you just had your most honest conversation, and it did not require a single word. This is the moment you begin to understand that something unexpected is growing alongside the chaos. Fake people disappear, not physically, not overnight, but gradually, quietly. The people who were only ever performing start to fade from your life, because performance is exhausting when the audience can hear your actual lines. And in their place, something unexpected fills the space. You start to actually know people. The friend who always seems so confident. You hear for the first time that she is terrified of being forgotten, that beneath the easy smile is someone working twice as hard as anyone knows, just to feel like she belongs somewhere. Your father, who you always believed was disappointed in you, is walking around carrying a thought he has never been able to say out loud, that he is proud of you every single day, and he has no idea how to show it. The quiet person in your class who nobody really talks to, his mind is one of the most curious, creative, genuinely interesting places you have ever been. In a world without filters, people stop being their best edited versions of themselves, and somehow imperfect and messy and completely unfiltered, they become more lovable, not less. But then humanity makes a mistake. A big one. People start confusing thoughts with choices. A man thinks something angry for half a second. The kind of fleeting frustration every human being feels dozens of times a day. His neighbors hear it. By the end of the week, people have stopped speaking to him. A teenager thinks something unkind about a classmate, the way teenagers sometimes do, without acting on it, without even meaning it. She is labeled, judged, isolated. An executive has one passing moment of selfishness, and suddenly his entire career is under scrutiny. Humanity forgets something critical. Thoughts are not decisions. They arrive without permission. They pass through without warning. The mind generates thousands of them every single day. Fearful ones, selfish ones, petty ones, and most of us simply choose not to act on them. That choice, that quiet, invisible, moment-to-moment decision to be better than your worst thought, that is where character actually lives. But now character is being judged at the thought level, and the world becomes crueler for it, not kinder. One night, sitting alone in your room, you listen to the hum of the world's thoughts, flowing around you like a river that never stops, and something becomes completely clear. Something that changes the way you see every person you have ever judged. Nobody is who they appear to be. Not the people you admire, not the people you envy, not the ones who seem to have life completely figured out. The most successful person you know has a thought every morning that whispers, "What if I am not actually good enough?" The kindest person you have ever met sometimes feels a flash of resentment so sharp it scares them. The bravest person in your life lies awake some nights, paralyzed by a fear they have never said out loud. You know this now. Everyone does. And the surprising thing is, knowing it does not make you think less of them. It makes you love them more. Because you realize that every act of kindness you have ever witnessed was a choice made despite a competing thought. Every moment of courage happened inside a mind that was also feeling fear. Every generous thing anyone ever did was done by someone who also sometimes felt selfish. Virtue was never the absence of dark thoughts. It was the decision to act against them. 1 year later, scientists find a solution, and one morning you wake up, and the world is quiet again. Not the heavy, anxious quiet from before all this started, a different quiet. The quiet of a world that has seen itself clearly, survived the embarrassment, and decided to keep going anyway. People cry in the streets, not from sadness, from relief, from the overwhelming feeling of being allowed to be private again, to have thoughts no one else can hear, which means choosing freely which ones become words. You think about the last 12 months, the husband and wife who almost fell apart, and who now talk differently, more honestly, because they already heard the worst of each other and stayed. The crush who became something real, because you started at complete honesty and had nowhere to go but deeper. The father who finally found the words he had been carrying for years. And you think about yourself, the thoughts you were ashamed of you now understand as human. The fears you have stopped pretending are not there. The way you look at strangers now, not with suspicion, not with envy, but with something quiet that feels like recognition. Because you know what they are carrying, and you know it looks exactly like what you carry. Thoughts were never meant to be public, not because you have something to hide, but because being human means your mind will sometimes generate things you do not believe, do not choose, and would never act on. What makes you who you are is not the full contents of your mind. It is what you decide to do with it. If everyone could hear every thought in your head tomorrow, not to judge you but to truly understand you, would they finally see someone they recognize? Because I think if we are honest, we are not as different as the silence makes us seem. If you want to keep exploring stories like this, impossible scenarios, alternate realities, and the questions that live at the edge of what it means to be human, subscribe to Your Other Life. Every story starts with one question. What if next time we wake up in a very different world?